had just
So you're
found
in
a
your house on
dragon
the
that was
road.
dead, and we were
Sorry.
being we had just found a dragon that was dead, and we were about to get attacked by dragonborns.
Ah, right. Okay. I thought you were out in the middle of out in the middle of nowhere, and a dragon started flying overhead. Because I'm like,
No.
hang on, isn't this Seth campaign? Because I thought that happened, and I remember you tried to hide somewhere, and it's like you couldn't.
Well, we like hit against the rock, and then it happened. The dragonborn came over the rock we were like pressed against.
Okay. Because obviously there was some battle. You ended up nearly dying.
Yeah, basically at the beginning of the battle, I had rolled really badly on initiative. I had like the second last movement out of all the people, including all the enemies.
Yeah. Oh, no.
And they were all really strong and had fucking good attacks.
Yeah. And I'm guessing they all rolled really, really well as well.
Not great, but 2 jumped down on either side of me, so they had advantage and stuff. And most of them had 3 attacks, minimum 2.
Mm.
Uh,
And it's just like, get the one out.
and I just happened to be close and hadn't had a chance to run away because, as I said, I was like second last in initiative.
Yeah. Ooh.
Anyway, so yeah, I was rolling death saves on my first go. I managed to roll 3 before somebody stabbed me, and
Yeah.
I was bleeding out. And
Oh, no.
I mean, I'm not bleeding out. I was already bleeding out. That's death saves. And I was dead for most of the game. And then I was alive for like 1 round, 6 seconds. And I'm going to wake up in an hour. And we've surrendered to the Dragonborns, or at least Iva has. Puros has fucked off. He made a double of himself with one of those kobold potions that he found.
Sorry?
He made a double of himself with one of those kobold potions we found. That double is now dead, but he's presumably still alive because the double had his full health, but didn't have his weapons, but still had his key points.
Okay.
He didn't have his tattoos though. His magical tattoos.
Did he spend those?
No, he's still got his magical tattoos, but his double didn't have them. His double had his key points, but like none of his armor, nothing.
So
presumably clothes.
Some naked guy just running around.
I said presumably clothes.
Presumably clothed.
But just regular clothes. Regular monk clothes.
Oh, yeah.
Monk halfling clothes.
So it'd be pretty easy to spot the double from, unless of course.
The only equipment he really has that you'd notice was he might have a weapon of some sort, but I think it's small, and he has braces on. That's the only thing he has in the way of armor because he's a monk. Braces and gloves. So you can tell by looking at the double's hand. But the double did have his key points, so it did cast darkness. But yeah, he's fucked off. The double's dead. I think Aliana is... I'm not sure where Aliana is. I think she might have been wounded badly and then left for dead kind of thing.
Okay.
And yeah, Iva's surrendered, and Jewel did fly off. He did give Jewel the bottle of smoke and tell her to go back to the farm and don't show herself to anyone but Draco.
I see.
And they did see the smoke cloud move away in a big circular motion, but they didn't necessarily see it was Jewel, but they're pretty sure that a flying smoke cloud...
Yeah, it's like, oh, we just captured these guys, and oh, look, there's just some random smoke cloud just...
And we're pretty sure they have a dragon, so, you know.
Yeah. The, what's the word I'm thinking of? So what did it say, did Dragonborn actually say what they wanted? Or did
They wanted the dragon. They wanted the dragon.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, last thing they did last time was they basically said I can't remember if it was where is the golden dragon or give us the golden dragon.
So wait, they wanted a dragon corpse or Jewel?
Jewel, the dragon corpse they killed.
Wait, Jewel isn't a corpse.
No, but the bronze dragon that was dead, they killed. They wanted Jewel.
Okay.
They'd already killed the dragon that was meant to meet Jewel. They wanted Jewel.
Right. So are these Dragonborn sort of a part of a faction that you're aware of, or that they just knew?
They did say something about the Everlasting Queen or something, and they do have like curved, like 5, I think it's 5, curved scimitars and like a fanning out thing on their chest plates. So they seem to be related to something, but it's not one that we've really come across before. We have come across Cleaver, who was like their leader.
Okay.
But yeah.
Did they think that Jewel is like their queen or something?
I don't think so. Otherwise, they probably wouldn't have killed that dragon. I think they don't like dragons.
Dragonborns that don't like dragons, dude, they need to go to therapy.
Well, they all seem to be red dragonborns, so they're chromatic in ancestry.
Okay.
And some dragonborns don't really think that much dragons.
So dragons are basically racist. They're just like, oh, you're not
Chromatic and metallic. Chromatic versus metallic usually.
Yeah,
Metallics are usually good. Chromatics generally not so much.
I've heard that sort of metallic dragons are usually nicer. So that means the chromatic dragons are just, they need therapy. Chromatic dragons need therapy. But now what's the word I'm thinking of? Okay, so you did this battle, you nearly died. Now they've captured you, and I'm assuming they're probably going to try and interrogate you next time.
I think they think I'm dead because I'm still passed out. Not rolling death saves or anything, but I'm still passed out. And it was in darkness where Aliana attempted to use a Revivify scroll. She doesn't actually have Revivify, so it was like it may or may not work. She had to roll to check that.
Wait, who was this?
Aliana, yeah, she had a Revivify scroll.
Okay.
She didn't have Revivify, so she had to roll. Basically, she got me back to 1 hit point and passed out because that's what she got with her roll.
Right, I see. You just kind of wake up sort of afterwards and just... I think that's probably the first time sort of like I've actually heard sort of you having bad luck in this story at the very least. Because, what's the word I'm thinking of? Yeah, geez. So obviously there's sort of some conflict going on sort of with the chromatic and metallic dragons.
That's been for a while.
And the chromatic dragons are trying to vie for a domination over the metallic ones.
Well, so you know how the Dragon Watsy Peak that we're at, Dragon Gaze Peak, was once a sacred place for dragons? I said that about last time we found that out.
Okay.
But basically, it was a meeting place and stuff. They'd come to exchange news. But then the chromatics basically decided they didn't like the metallics for some reason and started attacking them. So this peak is kind of where it started, and then there was dragon blood flowing along the peak and stuff like that. Oh, one thing that has happened, like right at the end, is there was this, I think it was a dragon, we heard the voice booming saying in common, why have you violated the sacred pool, I think he said, and my corpse did bleed into the fountain for a bit there.
Oh well.
So
Geez, I mean,
that could
why'd
be
you
it.
why'd you go ahead and why did your corpse go ahead and bleed into it? That's such a thoughtless thing to do.
Well, Puros took me over there, thought perhaps the water would have healing properties or something, and while I was getting partially, like, a little bit of my body in the water, nothing was happening, and then he was killed. Actually, that was his double. Then his double was killed and dropped me.
Wait, so
Remember, he made a copy of himself? His double carried me to the pool. This was around about the time that he ran.
okay.
The actual him.
I see. Okay. So from what I can understand, you violated this sacred location that all dragons went to, and now they don't like you
Because my blood was in there, or something.
because your dirty slutty wood elf blood was in there. I don't know sort of if there's a way sort of to, unless you just go, look, I'm really sorry, we can look for a Brita filter. Try and filter the blood back out, or
The last question was, why have you violated our sacred place? So, I think the best answer is we better, like, I mean, we were trying to save a dragon, so even though that dragon is now flown away, Ivory is marked by a dragon, so he's hoping that would give us some sort of leverage there.
I mean, you could also just say, we could find a cleric, like, cast purify food and drink in the water. Technically, water is a drink, so...
Maybe. We don't know if it actually does have some other properties other than just being warm, that it just doesn't cure wounds. Or maybe it doesn't cure humanoid wounds.
Maybe if you cast purify food and drink into it, it would actually get rid of the properties that are responsible for that. It's just like, it's just a regular old lake now. Regular old pool of water now. There's nothing sacred about it anymore, thanks.
Yeah, that's really like, what's the word? When you dig up a grave or something, what's that word? Desecrate. That would really desecrate the sacred pool. That would really desecrate the sacred pool.
Yeah, I don't exactly know if you really want to desecrate the sacred pool, given that...
Even more.
Fairly
Yeah,
strong.
it's why did you desecrate our sacred pool that we heard. So we don't want to desecrate it anymore, probably.
So what's Jules' story? Because I remember you said you rescued her from something.
We don't know the details. We know that somebody in Neverwinter wanted to use her, basically, as either for fighting for them or protecting Neverwinter or something. Volo managed to get her and wanted to send her to a contact that she'd presumably be safe with in the Evermoors. That was most likely the Copper Dragon.
Okay.
That was dead. And yeah, she's been locked up in various places for most of her life. She was very excited about being free.
Yeah.
That is her story.
About as excited as Zanari when she was free. Like, oh,
Oh, she loved when she got to go hunting with Aliana recently.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. I remember you sort of saying it. It's like she's just like getting her paws in sort of some entrails, and she's like, "Oh, this is so fun." It's just like,
Well, had stuff flying everywhere, yeah.
You're just like, well, once a dragon, or you can take the dragon out of the cave.
It's more that the entrails were flying all over Aliana, and she was just looking at Mushroom and Jewel tearing into this deer like, oh, that's so cute. You know, it's so sweet because she was used to that sort of thing. Even though there were blood and guts flying and some landing on her, it's like, oh yeah, they're so lovely. Look at how happy they are.
That noise, that adorable. You play with your entrails.
Well, they were more tearing into it and eating. It's just there happened to be stuff flying everywhere because they were hoeing into it with such gusto.
Yeah.
So they all came out of the woods when we went to get them covered in blood and guts and stuff, as well as mud in the case of Jewel and Mushroom.
Jewel was just some random dragon that sort of and she's been like buried around, sort of.
Well, she was a gold dragon, a young gold dragon, and it's like, yeah, gold dragons are special. You don't see them much anymore. You don't see many dragons, but gold dragons especially. And we just wanted her to be safe and free, not locked up and used by some unsavory characters who held power in Neverwinter.
Yeah, because what's the word I'm thinking of? What's the word I'm thinking of? Yeah, because I'm just thinking sort of when they're talking, like when there's Dragonborn and they're talking about the Eternal Queen, it's like, well, would a gold dragon sort of like be a queen? Would a gold dragon be queen material?
I don't know.
That is very curious. So I discovered something with those light fixtures, like with that light fixture in my bathroom.
Mm-hmm.
It turns out that those two plastic tabs, there doesn't seem to be anything indicating that it was broken in any way.
Well, it didn't look broken to me either.
Oh no, yeah. But what it looks like, there's actually a post in there, which is indicating that there used to be two like wires coming from it.
Yeah.
Obviously, there would be a way to sort of like attach a light fixed, like sort of like an actual.
Well, I figured there would be. You just have to work out what it is.
Oh yeah, no, but I mean, what goes? You can theoretically attach any light fixture to it.
Yeah, I was just saying you just want one that sort of goes or is, or you'd need to put other bits in to like support a different light.
You can get these. Well, see, like if you got like just a standard bayonet style light fixture, because those things they only have two wires. Obviously, there's north and south. And if the fixture in this bathroom operates in the same way, north and south, then it means you can basically sort of like screw a light fixture sort of into the ceiling or the wall or whatever else. It basically has sort of a standard bayonet style bulb in the ceiling that is hardwired to that random fixture. But I've taken a photo of it, and I'm going to sort of show the guys over at TLE that the photo, because they would know. I'm hoping they would know what it is. Because initially we thought that it was like a very unique style of fluorescent bulb, which had sort of two tabs on the.
Well, I didn't think it was a unique style. I just thought that's probably it was some sort of bar light.
Well, yeah, but I'm assuming it's obviously sort of still wired up and everything.
Yeah.
If what I'm thinking about is impossible, then yeah, just modifying this door so I can hang this other light in there would essentially be the go. But I'm thinking rather than running it from the power point behind the kettle, I'm going to connect another double adapter sort of on the extension lead running from power point to the power board that leads to the kitchenette stuff, which sounds unnecessarily complicated. All this bathroom really needs is just a power point, and everything else will work flawlessly.
Pity it wasn't a newer bathroom, like a more recent bathroom. Then it would probably have a power point because people would have like their electric razor and toothbrush.
Oh, yeah. I think the only bathroom in this whole building that had a power point was the one in my bathroom in room 20. I used to exploit the hell out of that thing. Like when I used to play Skyrim, I used to set it up and set up my laptop in the bathroom. My laptop sat on the toilet, and I would sit on the floor playing it in there because it's like, well, I can sort of have a smoke while I'm playing Skyrim and all that sort of thing. And
Although I feel like that would like stain the screen or something over time.
It's not good. It wasn't that long ago. I think it was probably about 2 years ago when I dismantled it and upgraded all the stuff in there that what's the word I'm thinking of? I'm trying to think that I cleaned the whole thing, screened the fan and all that sort of stuff. It wasn't anywhere near as much dust as I thought there would be inside it.
What about residual stuff from cigarettes?
Surprisingly not as much as I thought there'd be. But most of its life, it's sort of like it would sit in my room, and then I would sort of go somewhere else to have a smoke, and then go back to it.
So you didn't do it all the time.
Sorry.
So you didn't do it all the time.
No, just during that one sort of random brief period where I think it was just after I'd left uni. It was sort of shortly after I'd left uni, and it was like, and life was sort of like a little bit, I didn't really know what else to do, and so because I think during that time, sort of like I left uni, I broke up with Alice.
Wait, what?
No, sorry, not Alice, Cara.
Yeah.
No, breaking up with you. Come on. Broke up with Cara, and a whole bunch of other things. Because the biggest reason sort of why I broke up with her because she didn't know a single thing about me. Every time I tried to tell her anything about me, she would just sort of try to change the subject.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, am I a trophy boyfriend? But she used to sort of tell her sort of very blunt circle of friends.
Did you ever ask her?
Yeah. I asked her a couple times. And I was like, you don't know anything about me. And she was like, I'm really trying. I was like, all you have to do is if I say, well, this is something about me, then just not try to change the subject. I can try to get her to watch my favorite movies and she'd fall asleep. Try to read her my Skyrim fanfic and she'd fall asleep. It wasn't that she was tired, it was just that she get bored. Like really bored.
Is that why you thought it would be a good thing to get me to sleep that one night?
Yes. Turns out it didn't work. Turned out you were just more awake. You're just like, no, this is really interesting. Keep going.
Yeah, it's like I'm not the sort of person who just falls asleep because somebody's talking about themselves.
Yeah. But with her, it's like
It's
every
like
time.
I will listen to you and try to find a connection.
Yeah. Because yeah, and but yeah, it was yeah, it was frustrating.